Hello? Hopefully I'm going live. I think I'm live. Alright, let me just post it in the Discord. Alright. First off, how's my mic sound? Because I spent a pretty penny on it. So I'm really hoping that it sounds good. It's supposed to be podcast quality, so hopefully it sounds a lot better than my Blue Yeti I had. So I hope everybody that's listening right now, I hope you're okay. I know that this is troubling times for some people, that you haven't maybe experienced this. And so I wanted to go live and, am I looping? Hold on, sorry. Am I still looping? I wanted to go live and just kind of do a quick, brief, hey, this is why we're okay. And help everybody out, get out of that position where they're like, oh, is this gonna fail? I'm not gonna, all right, let me edit all these settings. The good news is I am not going anywhere, okay? I'm not going anywhere. I have a team that can execute the entire roadmap and add to what I have. So I have no concerns over what I've set out. And I'm gonna ensure that it is executed. So that's first and foremost. But mainly I just wanted to get on here and say that this is really normal for price action of a tune fork. We just got it a lot later because I had so much community support. So it happened a little bit later. So maybe some new people that just found out about us kind of got burned a little bit early. But it's important to understand the power of auto compounding and the power of increasing your walrus share position, and gaining more walrus in the boardroom over time, or whatever you choose to do. Some small issue like going down to 92 cents, whether you entered at 92 cents or $1.20, if you're thinking long term like the investors I'm trying to produce, then there really isn't. This is no big deal, because this position will be moot in 3 months for you. By the time you've compounded and got the APR that we're currently offering, it's moot at 3 months. Now, whether you're going to be here for 3 months or not is up to you, but I am just making it clear that it's really not that big a deal. We are supposed to lose peg sometimes. I think it's important that you understand that we are supposed to lose peg. This is called, DeFi Master in the chat was saying, this is elastic protocol. So what this does is this goes above peg, and then eventually there's not enough buy pressure and there's too much inflation, so that we go down because there's not enough buyers to meet the demand of new walrus. So then we're under, no more walrus is printed. Well, then our auto compounders buying back walrus and burning it, and more buyers coming in because, oh, this is supposed to be $1 and it's 92 cents. That's a perfect opportunity. Well, then they're going to start buying back, right? So then you get this effect of just like a rubber band where maybe it gets overshot because we don't have a huge amount of liquidity, which we actually still have retained a lot of liquidity. But so say more people buy and it shoots over $1. Well, then it's going to get to a point where all of a sudden there's not enough buyers, and it's going to go under and above and under and above. And then it'll slowly start tightening up. And this is the intended effect of these algo stables. So if you are here for the long term, this is merely an opportunity to either add to your position, right? And this is part of the education that I want to produce. But, I just got all my new stuff to be able to put this out for you guys. You either have an opportunity to lower your average. If you bought here, you can buy here, and then your position average will be here. So hopefully that makes sense, is that you're able to dollar cost average. We've also been really pushing that you keep some dry powder for these situations. Now, it looks like we had one large whale exit, and we had an effect of other people that may have not believed in me or the project or whatever the case may be. They left. Will they come back? Probably. Will they not? I don't know. We're going to have people that come in and exit all the time. There's going to be new whales, old whales, people that know the game, people that don't. But the important thing that I'm trying to make clear is that if you're in for the long, oh, I forgot you guys can't see my screen. Hold on, let me move it over so you can see my beautiful art. So yeah. Let me pull deck screener over here. Now I can't see you all. I'm not a streamer yet. You have to give me a little bit of time. But so like I said, it goes down, above, below, and you get the point. It becomes an elastic supply. And so that kind of situation is what really occurs, and that's what makes deeper liquidity, because each one of these times we're just losing people that don't want to be here long term and gaining people that do want to be long term. And this push and pull constantly plays into effect until we get a perfect balance of maybe going over peg for 2 epochs and under peg for 3 epochs or whatever else. Walrus is not intended to peg every single epoch. It's just not. That's not how it works. You can't have constant inflation with absolutely no contraction. That would be insane. So I just wanted to make that. I just wanted to make that clear that this is pretty normal price action, and it honestly, there was really good support here. We're not done. I don't know if everybody's exited that wanted to exit, but for being 2 weeks in, no marketing, having this situation occur, and still retaining 340K liquidity, seemingly stopping the large dumps at 92 cents, we can build from that. And I can continue to execute the roadmap, the second peg, all of these things that will benefit the overall TVL and the amount of money we have in the ecosystem. It's going to be great. And so I'm not really stressed over this stuff, but I do understand why people get stressed over this stuff. And that's why I'm just going live, just to kind of, like, if you have questions or anything else, like, feel free to ask. I'm here to help you, to educate people, and try and let you know the benefits of being in this longer term. Because if you really look, this is 2 weeks. We have a year of this. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously the overall market, we were going against the overall market with Bitcoin and stuff like that for a little while. And we actually went the opposite way when Bitcoin did do a little pump on us. But I'm still really happy. I'm really happy with where we're at. I'm really happy with what I've produced in this platform and the mechanics that I've put in place. I have no doubt that I'll continue producing and give thanks to the market that I know the market wants. And that is this tool that is able to produce passive income with an active investment, and a little bit fun, and also gearing towards new DeFi users coming in, an educational platform, an amazing community, events and things that take off, and built it all organically without shilling and marketing. Because listen, I could pay right now, a good chunk of money, and I know that I could get dedicated eyes on us. I just do. I know exactly how it works, and I know exactly who to contact. But here's what would happen, right? And there's 2 scenarios here that I want to talk about, but this is the main thing, is that we would get a large pump in. Guess what? The shares probably. Okay, so the shares would pump and they would dump, and we'd be a lot worse off, because all those people that didn't find us organically, didn't read the materials, didn't come in because they saw me or saw something that was in the community, they're not here for the long term. It's really important, because this is what long-term support gives you. The entire chat was really positive all day. There was a couple people freaking out, but people, were still joking, having a good time. It was perfect. It's exactly what I want to see. And so, the other, hold on, somebody said, how is a Tomb Fork pegged to a stable coin better than a coin like Crow? So obviously algo stables have their ins and outs of like pros and cons. But I think pegging to anything other than a stable in this market is very difficult. The assets are too volatile. And really the only reason that you peg to something like ETH or something like that is supposed to be because you can pair it with that ETH, and you can use your ETH in that way to have another coin that's supposed to be valued at the same as ETH. And then you could pretty much, farm ETH for like much higher than you could in like Trader Joe or something like that. So that's the benefits of having those. The problem is that Tomb Forks are produced so fast, and there's so many people that don't focus on actually building them. Those are all just marketing gimmicks, and no one's actually trying to do that. So that's my major concern with pegging to anything other than stables. Other people can have other opinions, but that's just kind of how I've always seen it. Obviously, in a beautiful world, we could have pegged to Bitcoin 1-to-1. People are using the platform exactly how they should. And then you have a coin that's mirroring Bitcoin and you have the same exposure rate to the Bitcoin you already hold, you compare it, and then you're farming at 1 to 2% daily with your Bitcoin and Bitcoin asset. But we know that Tomb Forks are not like that, and pegging to an actual stable coin is much better, especially for Walrus share and stuff because of the upside potential. But that's my opinion on that. Why is it called Frozen Walrus in the first place? I was thinking Arctic themed animals. Walrus came to mind, and I really liked the design of some of the stuff I had seen when I was like researching some images of like logos and stuff and ideas. And so that is why I chose to do Walrus. I also wanted to talk about, I had seen some stuff about single staking. And so I wanted to make it clear where my stance was on single staking. So here's what happens in a lot of Tomb Forks. And this is not every Tomb Fork, and single staking does work as intended sometimes. All right. So the copy and paste forks is exactly who I'm referring to. What happens is they open up a Genesis pool. All right. They build up some liquidity. And then after that liquidity gets built, they got high APRs. They're offering high APRs. They're advertising high APRs. And then the whales start exiting, and they dump. And then the peg gets severely hurt, right? And then what happens after the peg gets severely hurt? Well, everybody's screaming, well, we're single stake. Let me do single stake because then I'm getting, So the problem is that once everyone starts getting in that mindset of single stake, they break their LPs. We have no more liquidity other than what's left in the nodes and the treasury. And then what happens is you have to then keep buying Walrus till it goes above peg. And then what? All the current community already used all their dry powder to buy Walrus. Well, they can't do anything other than sell half their Walrus for LP. And then because it's the same exposure rate, well, then Walrus just goes under peg again. We don't get anywhere. You see what I'm saying? So I don't think it's necessarily pertinent to add single staking just because we've lost peg, because again, losing peg is going to happen. So in my opinion, we look to keep building, keep producing, and find organic growth with new buyers that want to step in, or old buyers that see, hey, look, they're still hanging on. Hey, look, they're still producing. And we have utilities that come into play. That's where I want to be. It really does get tricky when you add single staking. Now, single stake nodes are not a bad thought. I don't know if I want to commit to them yet, though. Again, I don't think anyone should be panicking with the current situation. You can even look, this is the lowest we've gotten, right? This is our first test. I don't think anyone should be freaking out or thinking, oh no, it's all done. But that's what some people are thinking, and that's why they've exited, because they've seen it time and time again. The important difference is that, I'm running this and I'm not going to go anywhere. And so that's how it's going to always be. I'll still work on this when it's at Luna prices, because I really am passionate about what I've made here and the thoughts that I've put into it. And I have a team that can execute it, and I'll do, whatever it takes to get that done. Frozen Walrus is a big passion project first for me. And I think that's clear, but just in case there's new people listening, it is, this is a huge passion for me. Wouldn't this situation just mean that everything is dependent on the current investors to keep buying in? Marketing for new investors could solve that, wouldn't it? Yes, but again, I know what marketing does to a project, and so I'm cautious with it. I hope it won't get there. I'm just making a point. Wouldn't the situation mean that everything is dependent on new buyers? So the difference is that people maneuver their positions around a little bit different. People can sell some of their Walrus share to support the peg. They can realign some of their LPs. And there's going to be new people coming in. It's inevitable. Even if we have one or two investors come in a day, we can still sustain, because currently Walrus isn't being inflated. So it's the same Walrus on the market. So eventually we will produce enough product and utility that somebody new will buy in. And there will be constant use cases for Walrus and stuff like that. So right now, obviously, we've stalled at 1,800 members and whatever else. But again, we still hold 340K liquidity after a huge dump in our peg token. This is where a lot of people get crucified, and I don't think that we're going to. I don't know the future, but there's still plenty of people that are waiting on the sidelines to support me specifically, and also Frozen Walrus. Grape is huge backing for me. The entire team over there has a lot of love for me, and I have a lot of love for them. They have liquid capital coming out, which their entire purpose is to support protocols such as Frozen Walrus. There's a lot more to come. We're 2 weeks in, guys, and I'm still excited. Like, I knew this was going to happen. This is a metric that needs to be hit. The first capitulation, it allows new people to come in that have been hanging on the sidelines if they do want to come in. Everybody's looking for the fallen knife right now, so that's why you're not seeing a ton of people jump in. And again, I don't know the future. It could go lower. It could get bought up right now. I don't know. But I'm just telling you that I've seen this time and time again, and it doesn't stress me out. I'd say if it does, first consider, are you an investor or a trader? If you planned on being in this protocol for a very long time, as you had originally thought, you need to understand that you should probably not look at the charts like a trader. I look at the charts for metrics. I look at the chart for how much pooled walrus we have, how much liquidity do we have. I look at charts for that, for Frozen Walrus. If you are in the chats and you are stressed, or you're like, whoa, huge dump, right? But you believe in me, and you believe in the product that I've presented, and you believe that I can execute the roadmap, and you're not looking to buy in, increase your position, or move it around, stay off the charts. Check the price every once in a while, but don't wallet watch and like scold sellers. Listen, I don't care if people dumped 30K right now, 40K, 50K. I don't care. These people have an agenda that is not my business. My business is Frozen Walrus and producing products that people want to purchase. My business is not to think, man, I can't believe that wallet sold. I'm sure it was really stupid, and that's out of curiosity. How do you intend on getting new investors without attracting whales? I have no intention of not trying to get whales either. You need whales for deeper liquidity. That's a problem that some people don't understand, is that whales need to play here. And when whales can exit and everybody's fine, that's when we've built deep liquidity. Until then, we're still building liquidity. It seems it will be inevitable that whales will enter a project they see lucrative. Well, of course, whales are just people. They're looking for a lucrative entry and exit. If they're trading, if they're long-term investors, then they do that. I don't think it's okay to get caught up on whales. It's not whales versus retail traders. Do whales suck sometimes in lower liquidity situations? Sure. But if you think that we're going to get big green candles and get back over $1 without some whale help, it's crazy. We're not going to have three $200 purchases and go over $1. I will bring in whales that I feel comfortable that want to support us long term. But my plan on marketing is going to be something different, and maybe Ask Me Anythings or other avenues like that. It won't be the normal pay this YouTuber X amount of dollars and him cover what he thinks he knows about Frozen Walrus. So my goal is to really grow this YouTube and kind of do the marketing myself. I've been working with Dow King. My concern with marketing is that I don't care about if they're whales or new investors. I care if they're here for the long term and see long term vision. I'm not looking to pump numbers into Frozen Walrus of people that don't want to be long term investors. If I treat this like a regular DeFi, like pumping up project, and just market it instead of doing organic growth like we've been doing, I fear that it will fall to the same victim that other protocol, smaller protocols that advertise, and then they get dumped on by those same people because they didn't find it through an organic method, or I didn't attract the right people, because really you do attract the wrong crowd sometimes if you're not picky with your marketing. So I'm just trying to understand. So I hope that makes sense, man. I'm not saying that you're wrong. Of course, I have the connections to market Frozen Walrus extremely well. I just have to make sure that I'm marketing it in a way that I feel, one, that my integrity is intact, and two, that I'm not looking for APR chasers or people just looking for like super lucrative entries, but people that understand that this is like a long-term safe investment to park money for long periods of time. And that's kind of how I've been navigating it since the beginning, and it's worked really well. To have 1 million TVL twice with, again, one Ask Me Anything with Dow King, I think is pretty good, you know. And so, you didn't get any DMs from us during our Genesis Bulls saying that we're launching, and do all that. We really did get caught with word of mouth, and it worked beautifully. And so, if we can prove that this method works and build a sustainable protocol with it, some of the shady business that goes along with what I think, the marketing and stuff like that could go away. And so that's really, I'm trying to impact the space. When can you get on DBank? When you gotta have 10 mil TVL? We've tried putting it in twice. Wonderful Destruction said, what is the TVL go? I think a sustainable 1 mil in the PEG token is a great start. And I think that 30% of all TVL locked in nodes is healthy. In my opinion, we still have some nodes to build up. We have 921 nodes at 34K TVL for the Walrus nodes, and we have about 10K. So we have about 50K, give or take, out of our entirety of our TVL. I still think that's significantly lower than it should be, but farms just now started producing less than nodes. So again, we'll keep pushing the nodes. I am going to look at doing, I already just reached out to somebody that's an NFT artist to start working on some of our NFTs. I've just got to think of better ways to implement them rather than just a profile picture or whatever else. I want to have some utility, and I also want to make sure that we're not just copying and pasting grape. So I'm going to try and find some lucrative ways to do things with NFTs and stuff like that. So anybody else got any other questions? I guess I can read Discord. Somebody must have been fudding in the chat. But yeah, so, do we see more downtrend here? Maybe. You got to understand that the mindset, if you try and think of what other people are thinking about, it'll really help you understand what's happening with the charts, right? If you're a long-term investor, think about if you're a short-term investor, right? Try and think of the other shoe. If you're a short-term investor and you got into Walrus and maybe you don't know me, you just saw it somewhere, maybe on Magic Farms. It was $1.06 or something when you got in, right? Or maybe even like $1.04. And it's just been on a downtrend because our inflation met the demand of buyers that we currently had. And then we had some big dumps leave. You're going to get spooked, right? You can't blame anybody for getting spooked. They don't know if this project's going to last. They don't know any of that. All they can base it on is what they're seeing on the charts. And they haven't learned to turn off the whole, well, wells are dumping, so I need to exit too. Frozen Walrus isn't going anywhere. We've got TVL locked in. We've got protocol and liquidity locked in. We will continue to build those positions. I will continue marketing, doing Ask Me Anythings, growing this YouTube channel to do our own marketing, educational series. I will get our name out there in the best way possible. And all I need for people is to just be collective, educated investors and stay positive in the chat. Compound your positions, buy when you want, sell when you want. Just try and do it strategically. Some of the sales I would call less than strategic. Oh, tomorrow I was actually supposed to get, me and the Polaris dev have been speaking a lot lately, and I was going to get him up for the Ask Me Anything tomorrow because he's actually invested in Frozen Walrus, but I think he's going to come in next week and talk about the multi-peg situation, kind of the pros and the cons. And so maybe that'll help people understand why it could benefit the entire protocol by adding an extra peg token. How would you briefly describe Walrus Finance, and what is the purpose to someone who does not know blockchain and crypto? So that's a loaded question because I feel like if you don't know blockchain and crypto, it's very difficult to even, I would not call Frozen Walrus something that you should just like jump into, without the educational series that I'll be producing. But, if you were an outside investor, how I explain it to my family who's extremely interested, now that I've been full time in it for so long, and they see that I've been kind of successful, they ask what I do, and it's really just it's a, I guess, yielding platform. It's a yielding financial tool, that uses an elastic supply and demand. And so, you invest and you get passive income that you can't get offered from the banks, because we're more of there's not as many hands in the pockets. DeFi, that's the best thing about DeFi and these projects. They're small scale economies. And so there's not a lot of hands in the pockets, just the devs, the emission schedule, everything like that. It's all enclosed. The U.S. economy is open. And so there's so many hands in it all the time. Paper hands, yeah. Legit, actually paper hands for the U.S. dollar. And so, that's the great thing about DeFi is it's so enclosed, and there's community side to it. I don't know, man. I love DeFi. I think it's truly awesome to be in this space, and to be a part of Frozen Walrus, and to produce this, and to have you all come in and listen to me and be a part of this project. So why are people so upset with Wonderful Destruction? What has he done? Oh, Dylan's giving away some stuff. Yeah, so Baca said something in Discord. He said, this period will be telling for a protocol. A few tests below peg, in my opinion, are healthy for a tune fork, and proven resilience goes a long way for future success. This is very true, and this is, like I said, this is a metric more than it is something to fear. This happens to every new tune fork. If you look at it from Wells' perspective, that was looking for an entry into Frozen Walrus, but all these tune forks are dying constantly, right? If we show the grit and the work and get back up to peg, building up liquidity, building up new people as we go, right? So we're gonna have people that say, "Oh wow, if I wasn't invested now, then there's some stability in this." People bought back in, people are buying back in. They're supporting this protocol. This is exactly what I want to see as somebody that's got X amount of money. This is what I want to do. Let's see. Yeah, so anybody that doesn't understand, Walrus share is going to get really volatile until we get some stability back on the peg as well. It's just part of what happens in tune forks. People do it psychologically because they think other people are going to dump at this point, but doesn't mean that Walrus share can't go back up to new highs, right? We've seen it with Grape. We've seen it time and time again. We've seen it with Polaris, a share token. It happens. Really, you got to think of it as a share of a company. Is the company performing? Currently, no, we're under peg, so the share token suffers. But there's ways to keep accruing. You're going to get, the share tokens you're going to get at a lower price. You can start compounding them and build a bigger position in your share for the next run up. So I have no doubt that the share token, if we can find stability and we produce a new peg token that only our share has access to on both, then I think inevitably, right, the shares go up, because now you have two BRs. Regardless, you'll have to split your position of Boardroom into two if you want access to both. And if you do that, right, then what's going to happen is the APRs are going to go up, because there's only X amount of Walrus share produced every single day, regardless of any scenario that happens, right? There's X amount of Walrus share. So there's only so much hitting the market. If we have two boardrooms, right, and you have to split your share tokens into both boardrooms, well, there's only so many you can buy and fill up those positions. So if you wanted a $1,000 BR position, but now there's two BRs and you still want a $1,000 position in both, well, then you have to buy double the amount of shares. What I'm saying is, it's a really great product to drive TVL and to also give utility to the share token. So I really enjoy the double peg. I think that you guys will also like it, especially how I have it designed. and how me and the Dips team decided to put out the new peg token, right? Through the Genesis, and the way that we're doing the Genesis, I think will really help strengthen Walrus even. And you guys will see that more tomorrow when I kind of lay out the foundation of what we're going to be seeing. So, yeah, Dylan's saying so happy to see me in another shirt. Sorry, I was working out. Even I get stressed, so I went ahead and worked out. I worked out over here in my basement, and so I kind of put my cutoff on. And I know it's not very professional, but it's good for me. So I didn't want to go upstairs and wake my baby up while he's sleeping. So I just went on live. Yeah, so we're going to lose TVO, gain TVO, lose TVO, gain TVO. The major metric that we need to be looking for is how much are we bouncing back with? Are people noting? Are people doing rebates still? Are all these metrics still hitting week over week? So, of course, we went up. We went halfway back down. Are we going to hit the floor and keep going up? These are all metrics to look out for. You know what I mean? I can't make people buy into this protocol. I can market it to death and put a lot of big numbers on the board, but that doesn't mean that stuff sticks. And again, I will find new ways and step off of my whole I can't market it this way, X way. I'll do what's beneficial for the community, but I do need to think about ways that I want to do it. So when's the release date? I'm looking for the end of the month, end of this month. It may be earlier. It may be later. I don't know yet. I really want to see stability hit back into the protocol before I release something else. I need dedicated TVO into the system before I introduce something that will seemingly kind of split TVO. And so I don't want instability in Walrus at the cost of putting this out. So is there an actual minimum number or range of numbers of Walrus that is needed to be at least at peg? So I'm sure there is some metric of how many Walruses are needed to get to peg. I don't know it. But But yeah, so on that, the real marketing, I'm going to start working with Dow King about growing this Discord or this YouTube channel, try and get like 1,000 subscribers, really push it, because I think if I market it through this, right, it's the person that runs the project, it's more impactful than just giving it over to another YouTuber. So, I'll be pushing this. I'm going to try and I'm trying to update my quality, my camera, backdrop, lights, everything, to try and give us that position. Because I know that people say that I'm decent on camera, so I'll just use myself to grow a YouTube channel and market us ourselves. So I'm happy to do that as well if it helps Frozen Walrus get the people that we want invested. Is there a formula or data on how the auto compounders work for Frozen Walrus? So they're actually through Magic Farms. I'm sure they have a formula, but I wouldn't look at APY or APR on a long-term scale and try to assume what your position will be at in 6 months, right? Because there's going to be price changes. You're going to change around your position. The APR is going to drop or go up, dependent. So there's a lot of factors that come into play. It's really, really hard. It's best to kind of do it at like maybe a 2-week scale. But I would not try and do like some kind of data point to look over the course of like 2 weeks, or I'm sorry, a year or something that you'd be getting. Because, everybody had that in the home season where they had calculators. It's like, if this lasts a year, then you'll have, 10 Lambos, and none of those lasted a year. So just be weary of that. The APRs are better to look on a daily scale. Yeah, so just to be clear, the Ask Me Anything will be a lot more formal tomorrow. I'm going to speak about the new peg token, Narwhal, which I'm super excited about. I think they've killed that logo, and there's a lot to do with narwhals. I'll speak about that. I'll speak about some of my ideas for the next NFT we're producing, the benefits of it. I'm really excited that we've actually worked on some of the V mechanics, the curve mechanics. We may implement node boosting APRs for the boardroom. I've been discussing some of that. I'm looking at locking your walrus up, or narwhal at this point, and boost APR up in the boardroom. So a lot of new things that boost the APR in the boardroom because it will be smaller. But I think if we have where you commit the peg token or nodes, that you can increase that APR as long as you're locked in for 3 months, 6 months, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. These kind of things are lucrative for long-term investors, and those are the kind of people that we want in. I was referring more to the process of burning and how it buys walrus. Yeah, I'm sure they have a formula in their documentation, but they're supposed to be. Well, I've actually seen a sneak peek of their UI rework, and it's fucking awesome. I cannot wait till they leak that. You guys are gonna love it. You're gonna be happy that I chose them as our only auto compounder. I promise you, and I bet you that UX wise, they will have a burn counter, right? So, I don't think that it'll be too much longer that you see the current website. If I had to guess, it looked pretty close to being done. Yeah, so if you're wondering what do I do next, right? What do I do with my position? I have X and X and X. You could always refer to our strategy, but realize right now if you have new money coming in, obviously dollar cost averaging into Walrus as it's intended to be $1. Is the best move. The closer we get to peg, the more everything goes back to normal. But I want everyone to remember these times, because when we get back over peg and it's like $1.30 and you're all celebrating in the chat, just remember that both are celebrations. Like the project is doing well. Be happy that you're a part of it. Increase your position, whatever you want to do. But just remember that it doesn't have to be $1.40 for me to be the best person ever. Everybody's really supportive of me even when we go under peg, but I'm just saying, try and think logically about your positions. If $1.40 was a great price for you to buy in, 92 cents is the same thing. Never blow your entire stack just because you're like, oh, these prices may shoot up. Well, Walrus was never supposed to shoot up to $1.60, but it was. It was never supposed to retain $1.40 for 2 weeks, but it did. Crazy things happen in DeFi. Will we be back up at those levels? I hope so. I want other people buying in, experiencing Frozen Walrus when I have a utility out. So we'll just have to see. We'll have to see what this new stuff that I'm adding to the market does. I've got a lot more planned, and so much that I haven't even solidified. That I'm just always working. You can ask Dylan, Top Gun. I'm exhausted because I just put everything I have into this every single day. I will not just sit idly by and do anything. I am constantly pushing for the next thing. I'm making plays. I'm speaking with different connections. I'm making new connections in the space and building my status in Avalanche to give us bigger projects, wanting to work with us, whatever it is. I'm always working. I'm doing I feel like I'm doing the job of a couple people, and I'm trying to do it the best I can. And so, if you respect that work ethic, then realize that, could the price still go down? Of course. I can do everything I want it to, and the price still go down. But I'm never going to give up on it, right? And so that's more to say than some of the other projects where they're just going to produce another fork. There's real value in being in these long term, and there's so much you can learn from the adversity of being under peg or people seeing you as a failed project because your prices are too low, right? There's so much adversity and things that you learn from those those things, and I've learned them. I'm going to continue to learn them and learn from them. And so I have grown to do like everyone else, but I feel like I am much more educated than when I first started. And I think that, or I try to be a really good leader for everybody. Even when I'm in the bad spirits, I still try and keep a positive face for everybody. And I think that's important. But yeah, again, I just wanted to do an impromptu. Maybe nobody's freaking out. Maybe it was just something that I wanted to do. I just like doing this shit anyway. But I just want to say that I appreciate everyone's support. Of being in here. I know that there's other people that are willing to enter at these prices. This is a good entry if you plan. So here's another thing, right? And I kind of think I didn't really write anything down. So if the goal is, and you believe in me, or you believe in Frozen Walrus minimum, If the goal is to be $1, right, and you haven't entered an LP position in Walrus and it's at 92 cents, it would be more lucrative to buy now, right? To make that LP position because you'll be compounding on it. And then when it goes over, you can take some profits and be much higher. So to me, this is the lucrative time to get into a tomb fork. Some people like to look the other way or call it a failed thing, but these are the times to look to get into undervalued tomb forks. Is $73 what you think value of a token that can produce two different tokens, right, on the market and has the same emission schedule as some other share tokens that are much higher in price? Like, think to yourself logically, do you think that $73 is a fair price? If you don't, well, then it's undervalued. I don't see it as a fair price. But, you know, that's up to your, and I'm not telling you to buy, I'm telling you to genuinely think about it. And if you come to the same conclusion, then that's how you make plays in DeFi. If Walrus being at peg impacts Walrus share and Walrus is meant to drop down at $1, how would the value of Walrus share go back up if Walrus ends up stabilizing at $1? Because Walrus share isn't just meant, it's actually having a stake in the company, and the success of the protocol hinges on it. And there's also only X amount made every single day, and it ends at the year. So there's only so much Walrus share being made. It's not like it's inflationary in the aspect that Walrus is, where it can inflate different different amounts and larger amounts. It's a static amount of Walrus every single day. If people are noting them, if people are locking them in the boardroom for 24 hours, they become much more volatile and easier to move up. So that's why you see larger price swings in the share token, and why it can go up to significant rates, because a healthy tomb fork has a good chunk of pricing in the share token. Obviously, no one's going to buy. So if people believe in your protocol and Walrus is already at $1, but they want to invest, or if it's at like $1.50 and people want to invest, well, what are they going to invest in? The token that's supposed to be $1, or the token that's at like $150, but the peg token's doing really well, so it's going to keep producing, and there's only so much of it made every single day, so they're going to buy into that, which causes it to go up and up and up. So that's usually how share prices work. And that's why, obviously, when it hits $1, it can go higher than $74. It's kind of like I say, it's kind of a reflection of the belief of the tomb fork, right? So if the tomb fork's doing great, then the share price is probably going to be healthy and up. There really is no upward limit of the share price, but there is only X amount that can be in circulation every single day. So it gets capped really fast, if that makes sense. Like, there's only usually about 5% of the total supply to 10% of the total supply of share of any given time to be traded. So it can move really fast. Yeah, I mean, the new peg token obviously will drive a lot of utility to it. That Jason, that bot will continually buy and sell. That's just part of it. Yeah, so, you know, I hope everybody's having a good night. I won't keep you guys too long. How long have I been going? I guess I can go a little bit longer. Does anybody have any questions that I can answer? Oh, I guess I could have upped my bit rate and been a little better quality. Oh, well. I know it's late. I know some people kind of freak out over this, but it's going to be okay. I will keep working in the same capacity I have been. Next Ask Me Anything is tomorrow, 7 p.m. Tuss Talk. Yeah, I don't know what the AVAX miner is. I didn't see your question. I guess. Did I miss it? Yeah, I think if Walrus share goes lower, then I may have to personally buy in. I've been trying to stay out of it. Of course, I already have a position. I told myself I wouldn't add a position this early into Walrus.
And then I aped in to try and help the peg like I always do. So, it's part of it, I guess. It's like this is my, my passion project. I'm not going to sit idly by. Oh, look at that transition. That's awesome. Dave made that. Yeah. Also, Saturday, I can't remember. I think the UFC fights are on. I'll probably stream that in the chat. And I think that'll be cool if we stream the UFC fights. I tried it last time. There's only a couple people that joined, but I think we have a little more activity in the chat. We are nearing 200 members. The next big goal is to try and advertise to some of the NFT communities that we're giving out, like Chicken and stuff. Ava Apes. I just met with him in a voice chat. The guy that made Ava Apes and Hoppers. I just talked to him. I'm gonna try and make sure that we can integrate. Yeah, I know, but you can see I need to put it in the dryer down a DeFi Master because it's kind of wrinkled. But yeah, so I'm going to try and integrate with some of these new NFTs, some of the old NFTs, and try and bring their communities over if they're looking for passive income. Hey, look, you can also stake your boardroom shares. We're giving away one of your own NFTs from the community, blah, blah, blah. So that's an angle that we're going to do for marketing. We're trying to think of new lucrative ways that might be a little bit different than the current. So we'll just have to see what happens. No, I'm not a fan of the miner. I think if you're talking about miner protocols, I'm not really a fan of. Yeah. Also, I mean, we have a pretty beefy treasury, and Dibs also has a treasury with their allocations that they're making their own treasury to support. They have a beefy treasury. We have a beefy treasury. Obviously, we had to pay for some of the dev work and stuff like that, so we still needed to rebuild, but we're still doing really well. We got to stake our AVAX, put in an additional 6.8, or put it in the platypus farms, which I love, right? I'm really happy that we got to do that for some pretty juicy APR for static AVAX. Yeah, and hopefully, we could be doing all this, right? We could just be surviving and making it and hitting peg and making it and keep moving. And then the crypto summer could hit like that. And then, there floods in liquidity. And it's sticking to every new project that ever came out. So, we can survive till then, but we don't need it. And I think it's awesome to prove it during these times. These are more fun times for me to be a part of because it gets a lot more stressful when there's so many people jumping in that are just new to Tomb Forks. And hopefully by the time we get to that point, I'll have the Frozen Walrus Academy. Once I have the Frozen Walrus Academy, we'll do NFTs for certificates for completing it. And then we'll give you some starter walrus. So I really want to get that done before we get into another Bitcoin rally or something like that. But it takes time because I have to develop it and then make it better because sometimes I still don't talk like I would say is a professional way to talk. And I just want to make sure that they're formed really well, easy to listen to from start to finish. I'm not rambling, which I still have a tendency to do. So, I'm getting used to the whole YouTuber aspect and learning through listening to myself, some of the things that I can pick up on and try and do better. So that when we do present Frozen Walrus through an educational platform, it'll be really nice. And everybody's going to be like, whoa, that's high quality. And then here's the thing is that nobody wants to fucking do education. So if I produce education, do you know how many Tomb Forks are going to link us and just be like, listen to this, just go through this, just do this. And then where do they go? They go through frozenwalrus.academy, literally almost the same exact domain with our branding. And I think that's going to be really cool. I think that's going to be a cool situation that we'll just have to see how it plays out. But, regardless, I'm not producing educational content just for new people. I am actually producing it because I want you all to benefit from Frozen Walrus, not just from financial gain. So that, that's really important for me. So I think that will do that. Yeah, and we already have it. I don't know, DeFi Master, you may have joined a little later than we actually had it, but we do have I can actually show it. Hold on. That's not it. So we actually have it. I'm really happy with this because I actually made this. It's just like some bullshit little thing, but it'll actually be a professional site where you go through courses. There's an entire course design, and it'll be similar to this, and it'll just be something really easy to listen to. 5 to 10 minute videos, 6 or 7 sections of like 5 or 6 videos in each section. And hopefully from start to finish, I can represent how to get into DeFi in general, and then also by the end of it, advanced strategies of investing. Holy shit, I know that's loud. Of investing into Frozen Walrus, and that'll be the end goal, right? So my head's always spinning. I'm always got ideas, but short-term price action does not really, affect me. Here's my fiance calling. Hold on a second. Hello. Hey, I'm on live chat. Okay. All right, let me see. All right, there we go. So, I think that this was gonna happen regardless of what people thought. How much confidence do you have? The security. Many protocol had been exploited. I'm pretty confident in it, I guess. It's been audited 1,000 times. It's just Tomb's code. I don't know any current Tomb protocols that have been exploited. Maybe you can help me out. I don't think Tomb is really the target. Tomb forks even. I think it's been a lot of dexes that got exploited. I think it was dexes, and what else did we have that was getting exploited a lot? I'm not sure, but dexes seem to really get hit hard with exploits. But yeah, if you want to clear that up, I don't know any Tomb forks that's currently getting exploited. Well, all right, guys. I won't keep you guys too long. I wanted to get a quick little thing out here. I was gonna make a video, but I decided to just go live and answer questions live instead of like trying to form up, some kind of video for everybody to watch and pay attention to. I figured I'd just go live and see who all was freaking out. Thanks, Valens. Yeah. Yeah, I know. You grew a lot. I told you once you get it down, it's a lot easier once you get through that first initial gap. So I want to bring that to as many people as I possibly can, because really, Frozen Walrus is just like a stepping stone of me like helping people, and this being an avenue for people to use as a financial. Bamboo did not. Let me make this clear. Show Bamboo did not get exploited. The dev minted 1 million tokens. That was a rug pull. Whether it was the actual main person that ran that project or somebody they contracted out, that was not exploited. It was somebody just scammed people. So it's a little bit different. But yeah, I have full trust in my devs that are currently running the contracts. So I have no concerns over that. Pretty soon we'll probably get them on multi-sig as well, but it's not really a big concern for me. And I wouldn't say that lightly. I'm not just like throwing caution to the wind. But yeah, so I'll go ahead and end it here. Thank you guys for watching me kind of babble on. I appreciate your time. Hopefully it gave you a little bit of confidence in the project and what I do and what my next moves are, and you are still an investor by tomorrow and the many days to come. If you have any questions, I'll still be in Discord. I'll still be talking. I'll still be here, throwing some positive chat momentum, and we work through it. We're at 91 cents. We'll be back up. Did we go down first? I don't know, but we'll be back up. You can bet that. So just keep building liquidity. Keep the pressure on your own brain, because I know these times can get really stressful, and it kind of seeps in. Like, you get that kind of fear, like, oh my God, is everybody about to exit? Am I going to be exit liquidity? Those things hit you really hard. And so it's important to train your brain about why you got into a project, and to also make sure, even in future projects, you don't jump into something you don't fully understand or believe in. That will make the space a hell of a lot safer if I can get a lot of people to do that. Not just in Frozen Walrus, but in any project you get into, because it's really an unsafe space, and not everybody cares for their community as I care for mine. So have a good night, and I will make some more short videos here soon to try and get some engagement on my YouTube and just start growing my channel a little bit. But if you're not subscribed, really help me out. Smash that like button. Subscribe. No, but seriously, just subscribe if you haven't already. And let's start building this platform so that when I speak, we can get a lot more people to pay attention. But have a good night, and I'll talk to you again soon.